Hello viewers, you are welcome to my YouTube channel Botany. In this episode, let us try to understand the factors which made angiosperms the most dominant plant group on Earth. The angiosperms represent the most diverse and widespread group of plants on Earth, dominating terrestrial ecosystems with their remarkable adaptability. Their evolutionary success is a testament to a suite of innovative features that have allowed them to exploit a vast range of ecological niches. Angiosperms exhibit an astonishing variety of forms, reproductive strategies, and ecological roles. This dominance is not mere a coincidence, but rather the result of millions of years of evolutionary refinement, driven by selective pressures that favored their unique characteristics. The key to the angiosperm supremacy lies in their sophisticated reproductive strategies, including the evolution of flowers and fruits. Flowers with their diverse forms and colors have facilitated highly efficient pollination mechanisms, often involving specialized relationships with animal pollinators. Fruits, in turn, have enabled effective seed dispersal, allowing angiosperms to colonize new habitats and expand their range. Coupled with their efficient vascular systems, diverse growth habits, and potent defense mechanisms, these reproductive innovations have propelled angiosperms to the forefront of plant evolution, shaping the landscape we see today. Angiosperms exhibit a remarkable diversity of growth forms, reflecting their adaptation to a wide range of habitats. Here are some major categories. Herbs, these are non-woody plants with a soft, often green stem, typically have relatively short lifespan. They can be annual, biennial, or perennials. Examples like Lucas, Tridax, etc. Shrubs are the woody plants with multiple stems branching from near the base, generally smaller than the trees. They can be deciduous or evergreen. Examples include roses, hibiscus, etc. The trees are the woody plants with single dominant trunk. They are tall and long-lived. They can be deciduous or evergreen. Examples include mango, apple, jackfruit, etc. The vines or the lianas are the plants with a long, flexible stems that climb or twine around other plants or structures. They can be herbaceous or woody. Use various adaptations for climbing, such as tendrils, aerial roots, or twining stems. Examples include grapes, passion flowers, clitoria, watermelon, etc. Subshrubs are partially woody plants with woody bases and herbaceous upper portions. Often have a shrub-like appearance but are smaller and less woody. Examples include lavender, sage, etc. The growth pattern of the plant refers to the way a plant develops and expands over time. It encompasses a variety of the aspects like direction of the growth, seasonal growth, and overall shape of the plant body. The direction of the growth here, the plants may be erect, prostrate, climbing, or trailing. In erect plants, they grow upright typically with a strong central stem. In prostrate category, they grow horizontally along the ground. The climbing ones use tendrils or twining stems to ascend supports. The trailing or the spreading horizontally along the ground without rooting at the nodes. The overall shape, that is the architecture, it includes the plants which are rosette, that is the leaves are arranged in a circular pattern at the base. The columnar plants which are tall and narrow with a cylindrical shape. Globose, that is spherical or ball shaped like cacti. Winding, long flexible stems that climb or trail. Then seasonal growth, it may be deciduous, that is shedding leaves seasonally, typically in response to cold or dry conditions. Evergreen trees, they retain the leaves throughout the year. The primary and the secondary growth. The primary growth, it is the lengthening of the stem and roots, primarily driven by the apical meristem. The secondary growth is the thickening of the stem and the roots, primarily driven by the lateral meristem, that is the vascular cambium and the cork cambium. Some plants grow horizontally under or above the ground to spread and reproduce, like rhizome and stolons. The lifespan refers to the duration of the plant's life from germination to death. Plants exhibit a wide range of lifespans, categorized into three main types, that is annuals, biennials, and perennials. Annuals, these plants complete their life cycle, that is germination, growth, flowering, seed production, and death within a single growing season. They typically germinate in the spring or summer, flower and produce seeds, and then die before the onset of winter or the next dry season. The examples include marigolds, zinnias, corn, and many other weeds. Biennial plants complete their life cycle over two growing seasons. In the first year, they typically germinate and grow vegetatively, forming a rosette of leaves near the ground. In the second year, they flower, produce seeds, and then die. Example includes carrots, beets, and foxgloves. Perennials are the plants which live for more than two growing seasons. They can continue to grow and reproduce for many years. Some perennials die back to the ground each winter and regrow in the spring, while the others retain their above ground parts throughout the year. The example includes trees, shrubs, grasses, roses, lilies, etc. Some plants may live for only a few years, while the others, such as some trees, can live for many years. Plant adaptations are the remarkable ways in which the plants have evolved to survive and thrive in the diverse environments. Since plants cannot move to find resources or escape threats, they must cope with the wide range of environmental challenges like variations in water availability, extreme temperatures, limited access to the sunlight, escape from herbivores and pathogens, and to face the nutrient poor soils. The types of plant adaptations include structural adaptations, which involve the physical changes to the plant's form, like the presence of spines and the thorns for the defense against the herbivores, the presence of succulent leaves in the stem for water storage in arid environments, extensive root system to maximize water and nutrient absorption, waxy cuticle to reduce the water loss, drip tips on the leaves to shed excess of water in the rainforest. The physiological adaptations involve the changes to the plant's internal functions, like the CAM photosynthesis, a specialized process that allows plants to conserve water in dry conditions. The production of chemical defenses such as toxin and repellents. The salt tolerance in the plant that live in the saline environment. The behavioral adaptations involve how the plant responds to its environment, like phototropism, that is growing towards the light, nastic movements such as the closing of the leaves in response to the touch, then seasonal leaf shift. Xerophytes are the plants which grow in the dry environments. The fundamental challenge in the arid environment is the water scarcity. These plants have evolved adaptations to minimize water loss and maximize water uptake, like the presence of thick and waxy cuticle to reduce water loss, the presence of succulent stems or the leaves to store water, presence of small or reduced leaves, then deep root system to access groundwater, CAM photosynthesis to minimize water loss by opening stomata at night for carbon dioxide intake. The hydrophytes are the plants which live in the aquatic environments. The primary challenge in the aquatic environments are the excess of water, limited oxygen, and sometimes limited light. Hydrophytes have evolved adaptations to deal with these conditions, like the presence of aerenchyma that is air-filled tissue to provide buoyancy, reduced root system or floating leaves which absorb nutrients from the water, the presence of thin or highly dissected leaves to maximize surface area for the nutrient and gas exchange with the surrounding water, floating leaves to capture sunlight on the water surface. The specialized stomata, that is, they are located on the upper surface of the floating leaves, allowing for gas exchange with the air. Halophytes are the plants which grow in the salty environments. The core problem is the high salt concentration leading to osmotic stress, that is, difficulty in absorbing water, and ion toxicity. These plants show certain adaptations like the presence of salt glands to actively remove the excess of salt from the tissue, preventing buildup and damage. The presence of nematophores or the breathing tubes. These are the specialized aerial roots which grow upward, extending above the waterline. This allows them to access atmospheric oxygen through the lenticels. Viviparous germination. The seeds, while still attached to the parent plant, the seedling develops a long, heavy hypocotyl, that is the embryonic stem, that can penetrate the muddy substrate when it falls. This gives the seedling a better chance of establishing itself quickly and avoiding being swept away by the tides. The presence of salt glands excretes the excess of salt. The presence of succulent leaves dilute the salt concentration with the tissues by storing water. Examples are the mangroves. The epiphytes, the plants growing on other plants. The main challenge is access to water and nutrients as they are not rooted in the soil. They rely on the atmospheric moisture and debris. Certain adaptations found in the epiphytes are the presence of aerial roots to absorb water and nutrients from the air, rain, and debris trapped in the host plant's canopy. For example, in orchids, they have a spongy covering layer called velamen tissue, which helps to absorb and retain water. The water storing structures. Many epiphytes, such as bromeliads, have a modified leaves that form cup like structures to collect and store rainwater. Because they grow high in the canopy, epiphytes often have adaptations to maximize the light capture. Epiphytes need to disperse their seeds to other suitable host plants. Many have lightweight seeds that are easily carried by the wind. Others produce fruits that attract birds, which help to disperse the seeds. The parasitic plants have evolved a remarkable suite of adaptations that allow them to extract nutrients and resources from other living plants. This lifestyle presents a unique challenge requiring specialized adaptation. The fundamental challenge for the parasitic plants is to obtain the necessary resources like water, nutrients, and sugars from the host plant. Some of the adaptations include the presence of Hostoria, a modified root which penetrates the host tissue to obtain nutrients, as in case of the Cuscuta. Because these plants rely on the host for the nutrients and sometimes photosynthesis, they may reduce the loss by their own photosynthetic structures. The holoparasites have completely lost the ability to photosynthesize. They rely entirely on the host for their carbon and energy needs. Whereas in hemiparasites, they can still photosynthesize to some degree, but they are also obtain resources from the host plant. Many parasitic plants have evolved sophisticated mechanisms to detect the presence of suitable hosts. The pollination strategies are the diverse methods by which plants transfer pollen from male anther to the female stigma, ultimately leading to the fertilization and seed production. These strategies have evolved to ensure the successful reproduction and are often closely linked to the plant's environment and the availability of the pollinators. Certain key adaptations found are the pollinator attraction with the help of color, scent, nectar, and flower shape all play a vital role in attracting the pollinators. The pollen transfer. Flower structures are often adapted to ensure that pollen is effectively transferred to the pollinator and then to the stigma of the another flower. Pollinator specialization. Some plants have highly specialized relationship with the specific pollinators, while the others are more generalist. The pollination syndrome. These are the set of floral traits that have evolved in response to the selection by a particular group of pollinators. There are two main categories of pollination mechanisms. One is biotic and another one abiotic. The biotic pollination, that is the pollination by animals, this strategy relies on the animals to carry pollen from one flower to the another. It includes entomophily, that is insect pollination. The flowers are often brightly colored, fragrant, and have nectaries to attract insects like bees, butterflies, moths, and beetles. Specific color shapes and structures can be adapted to the particular insect pollinator, like rose, sunflowers, and orchids. The bird pollination, that is the ornithophily. Here the flowers are often brightly colored, especially red or orange. The flowers are tubular and produce abundant nectar. The examples are hummingbirds visiting fuchsias. The bat pollination, that is chiropterophily. The flowers are often white or pale open at night and produce strong musty odor. The bats are attracted to these flowers for their nectar and pollen. Examples include cacti and baobab trees. Other animal pollination, that is some plants are pollinated by other animals such as lizards, rodents, or even marsupials. Abiotic pollination, that is the pollination by the non-living agents. This strategy relies on the wind, water to carry the pollen. The wind pollination, that is anemophily, here the flowers are often small, inconspicuous, and lack bright colors for strong scents. They produce a large amount of light, dry pollen that is especially easily carried by the wind. Stigmas are often feathered to capture pollen from the air. Example includes grasses, oaks, etc. The water pollination, that is hydrophily. Here this is less common and occurs in aquatic plants. Pollen is released into the water and is carried to other flowers. Plants like pond, eelgrass, etc. are the examples. Seed dispersal is a crucial process in the life cycle of the plant, ensuring that the seeds are spread away from the parent plant. This prevents the overcrowding and increases the chance of seed finding suitable conditions for germination and growth. Here are some of the mechanisms. Wind dispersal, that is anemochory. Here the seeds are light and may have wings or plumes or other structure that allow them to be carried by the wind. The examples are dandelions, maple seeds, cottonwood seeds, etc. This allows for the wide dispersal over long distance. The animal dispersal, that is zoochory, the fleshy fruits that are eaten by the animals with the seeds passing through their digestive system. The seeds with the hooks are sticky substances that cling to the animal fur or feathers. Examples include berries. The animals carry the seeds to new locations, often far from the parent plant. Water dispersal, that is hydrochory. Here the seeds are the fruits that are buoyant and can float on water. Example includes coconuts and mangrove seeds. This is a common in aquatic plants and those near water bodies, allowing seeds to be carried by the water currents. The gravity dispersal, that is barochory. Heavy seeds are the fruit that simply fall to the ground, like apples and nuts. This results in the seeds being dispersed close to the parent plant. The explosive dispersal, that is balocori, the seed pods that are explosively released seeds when they are ripe. Example, peas, jewelweed, etc. This forcefully ejects the seeds away from the parent plant. Adaptations for nutrient acquisition includes the carnivorous plants, mycorrhizal associations, and symbiotic fixation. The carnivorous plants have evolved specialized leaves or traps to capture and digest the insects and other small animals. This adaptation is particularly common in the plants that grow in nutrient poor environments. Example includes the Venus flytraps, pitcher plant, and sundews. It is important to remember that these plants do still perform the photosynthesis and are using the captured animals as supplement to the nutrients that they receive from the soil. Mycorrhizal association is a symbiotic association between a fungus and the root of the plant. Here, the symbiosis means both the organisms benefit from the relationship. The fungus extends the plant's root system, significantly increases its ability to absorb water and nutrients from the soil, especially phosphorus. They can also provide protection from the soil pathogens. The plant provides the fungus with the carbohydrates produced through photosynthesis. The symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Here, the bacteria from mutually beneficial relationship with the plants, typically legumes like peas, beans, etc. The most well-known are the rhizobium bacteria, which form nodules on the roots of legumes. The plants provide bacteria with carbohydrates, and the bacteria provide the plant with the fixed nitrogen. Plants, being stationary organisms, have evolved a fascinating array of adaptations to defend themselves against the herbivores, pathogens, and other threats. These defenses can be broadly categorized into physical and chemical mechanisms. The physical defenses include the presence of thorns, spines, and prickles. These are sharp pointed structures that are herbivores from feeding. The thorns are the modified branches, spines are the modified leaves, and prickles are the outgrowths of the epidermis. The presence of tough leaves and the stems. The thick leathery leaves or the woody stem make it difficult for the herbivores to chew or penetrate the plant tissue. The presence of trichome, that is tiny hairs on the leaf surface, can create a barrier and trap insects or release irritating chemicals. The presence of hard seed coat and the fruit walls. These protect the seeds from the damage and protection. The structural reinforcement, like the production of compounds like lignin, which makes the plant tissue very hard to chew. Chemical defenses are the testament to the evolutionary arms race between the plants and their attackers, showcasing the remarkable adaptability of the plant kingdom. Plants produce a vast array of chemical compounds known as secondary metabolites that are not directly involved in their primary metabolic process. Many of these compounds serve as defense roles. The purpose of the chemical defenses includes the anti-herbivore to deter or poison the animals that eat plants or to reduce the digestibility of the plant tissue. Antimicrobial, that is to protect against the fungal and bacterial or viral infections. Allelopathy, it is to inhibit the growth of competing plants. Types of chemical defenses include the toxins, plants which produce a wide range of toxic compounds that can harm or kill the herbivores like alkaloids, glycosides, and terpenoids. Repellents, some plants produce chemicals that repel herbivores due to their unpleasant taste or odor, like essential oils and bitter compounds. Digestive inhibitors, These compounds interfere with the digestive processes of the herbivores, reducing their ability to extract nutrients from the plant tissue. Phytoalexins, these are the antimicrobial compounds produced by the plants in response to the infection or injury. The volatile compounds can attract predators of the herbivores that are attacking the plant, thus providing indirect defense. The indirect mutualistic relationship, that is, some plants form symbiotic relationship with the ants or other insects that protect them from herbivores. The plant provides food and shelter, and the insect defend the plant.